all the dish that's fit to air. Cindy Adams is on 77 WABC.
Good afternoon, ladies and germs. This is Madam Adams, Madam Cindy Adams of the New York Post, whom, whether you like me or not, has been on that paper since Andrew Jackson was around. I am now doing a broadcast, and I am going to tell you what I think about a lot of people before you tell me what you think about me. So take your cup of coffee. Right now, I want to talk to you. I'm sort of up to my behind in thinking I want to praise the United States of America. There is no other effing country anywhere in the world or underseas or anywhere that's like the United States of America. And anybody's going to tell me differently, I'm going to put a behind up their behind. That's all I'm going to tell you. We have just passed July 4th's Declaration of Independence of the Constitution of our United States. Today, I am going to take a look at the amendments. How many of you have read or studied or even followed the amendments? Like Amendment 1, it says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or the power of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. It's very long. What it means is shove off and stay away from temples and synagogues. I don't know what that's happening, and I don't know why the government isn't making sure that does not happen. It's an amendment. It's an amendment number 1. Stay the hell out of the synagogues, stay out of the churches, stay out of everything, and stop marching on people who believe in God. That's the First Amendment, and I'm not seeing anybody following it. There is Amendment number 7. It says, where the value in controversy should exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved. That means May Musk's son can sue to protect his crowds of children and their billions and some of his sexuality, which seems to be doing better than he is. Amendment 8. This is a direct quote. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. It means no rough treatment from jailers, bailers, or failures. I'm not hearing anything like that's happening anywhere. Wait a minute, I just lost my place, but I'll come back. Okay. Amendment number 11. It says in the book that I am reading, it is a well-regulated militia that we will have. It is necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. In other words, it means you touch us, buddy, and we will annihilate the crap out of you. That's basically what it means, shorn of my lousy English. Amendment 12. President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and the House of Representatives, open all the certificates, and the votes shall then be counted. This is something that someone in New Jersey neglected to read, so this way I'm helping them. Amendment 14. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside, In other words, it means if you are here illegally, get the F out. It doesn't exactly say get the F out. I'm adding a little more English to it, but get the hell out is what it means. Section 4. Neither United States nor any state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in aid of insurrection or rebellion against the United States. Pay attention. This is a continuum, but all such debts, obligations, and claims shall be held illegal and void. In other words, it means stop already with the taxes and impoverishing us, whereby with just the price of a slice of bread today, you could down payment a Ferrari. That part I added myself. Amendment 16. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived, without regard to any census or enumeration. Maybe I don't want to look at that one so much, but I'm going to go on. And when Senator Lindsey Graham left us, it also left a conversation about USA's aging officials. This has nothing to do with amendments. This is just something that is suddenly happening to us today. Our officials are all not so sturdy. They're wobbly. They're aging. They don't make dinners often. They don't go to dinners often. They can't sit through dinners often because they have to go to the John. There's something the matter with most of them. Most have thinning white hair or minuscule remnants died. Lighthouse residents even notice that. How much after their sweet 16s should the public follow wheelchairs of our many longtime officials who could call Methuselah kid? Shouldn't Congress reveal their health? Aged limbs, skinny snow-white strands surrounded with big empty circles? No laws about aged electees? Beyond the price of a crypt? Are we not entitled to know that? Some could call Methuselah kid, and the USA need know if antiquarians monitoring millions of citizens medically, legally, physically, are they all intelligent still, able and fit to serve between doctor appointments? Peter Weinberg, author of the new book Heartbeat, Pave Your Path to Metabolic Wellness and Happiness. He just wrote this book, and he believes President Trump can encourage regular heart health evaluations and lifetime practices. Heart disease, he tells us, I think we already know it, it's often silent until it isn't. It's for every American over 50. They should get evaluated. They should take action. They should not be ruling others of us. There should be blood pressure monitoring, cholesterol and metabolic tendencies tested, weight and lifestyle management, regular physical activity, evaluations based on individual factors. Okay, I'm off that. I'm on to something else. While everybody is not happy, there are some of us who are still trying to survive, like Jennifer Garner, She's baking. She has a new Peacock series. It's called 5-Star Weekend. In her kitchen, for a girls' weekend with Chloe Sevigny, Regina Hall, and Gemma Chan, Jennifer says her favorite recipe, I don't know whether you care about this, but I don't care whether you care about it. I care about it. A favorite recipe is melt chocolate chips. You add tablespoons of solid coconut oil. Where you're going to get it, that's your problem. A splash of vanilla, a sprinkle of salt. That makes a homemade magic shell. What a homemade magic shell is, this I don't know. It's not my problem. You can thank me later. I'm giving you the recipe. But first, see your doctor. Wait, I'm coming on. I got more stuff. You can get a cup of coffee after I finish this stuff, because coming at us for 2 days only is the Jackie Mason story. If you're young, you don't know Jackie Mason. If you're old, you can remember him. He was a one-time rabbi. He then became a hotshot comedian. For a while he was big. Nightclubs, Broadway, Florida, Catskills. Old things, except for shoes and suits, are coming back. And now it's humor. He's hilarious, he was, and with a real thick accent that would make Netanyahu sound British. So he's coming back from the grave by means of his real-life daughter, who has put a who knows what together, borscht, that sounds like Jackie would sound, and she's trying to put it on Broadway, or at least put it there temporarily on Broadway till somebody sees it. The new play is called The Whole Sky, All Diamonds. It is set inside a tech company. It's romance, it's betrayal, it's heartbreak, it's spread through the office. It's inspired from worlds written by Anton Chekhov. The play explores how painful it is to connect in today's uber-connected world, how to stay and how to say what needs to be said when there are no words, and we don't want to hurt the people we are going to hurt. People are coming back. There are reprieve shows that are coming back with names that we have long forgotten and are long gone. But it's cheaper than doing new work. That's what they told me. Audiences now chart their own journey as discoveries emerge around them. A playwright by the name of Bixby Elliott said, "It changes nightly, depending on who you decide to stalk through the office. Basically, you come for tech satire. You stay because you've accidentally fallen in love with a fictional software engineer. A new hire upends the orbit of everyone at the company." This is the routine of all these new shows coming. After the orbit of everyone coming to the company that we don't know, new people, comes now instantly betrayal and heartbreak, which spreads through the office. This is a 10-cent memory, and it's on every other play coming out. The plays then explore how painful it is to connect in this uber-connected world, and how do we say what needs to be said when we can't find the words, or there are no words. There's a new play. A play invites audiences to chart their own journey as characters, conversations, and discoveries emerge. What is not emerging is Broadway. People are not going. Audience members become part of the company as new hires moving through the workplace, and experiencing their story from constantly shifting perspectives. These shows open and they close. Said one playwright, Bixby Elliott, plays lately that you step into, you follow a story, you follow one person, you'll get a completely different, possibly more emotionally devastating one. It's heartbreaking, and it changes every single night. It depends on who you decide to stalk. Broadway is not running hot anymore. Basically, come for the tech satire. Stay because you've accidentally fallen in love with a fictional software engineer who can make lights go up and down. I'm just telling you that Broadway is not running hot anymore. Why? Because it's cheaper to get something that's been on before. You don't have to worry whether it's good. You can use the old costumes. You don't have to limit yourself. And that's why it's happening cheaply. One note. I want to talk. Wait a minute. I got more things that's on my head. I want to talk now about our representatives. Like Biden, you should excuse the expression. He's living large. Pelosi, she has millions. A few reps are doing well financially. Kamala seems okay. Kamala's husband seems okay. Is it just that the people of the United States are the ones hungry and can't afford food? As one bankrupt debtor who went broke said to me, listen, I can't afford stuff. I hate to open and owe money. Onward. I'm just in the mood to talk endlessly. And at some point, you will be finished with me. We'll all get a cup of coffee. But I just want to talk about the United States of America. United. We are united. We've got francs, burgers, pasta, chow mein, sometimes even legit sales. We got the remnants of Saks and Bergdorf's. We got schools, pools, tools, stools, fools, rules, jewels. We're getting a Park Avenue facelift, a White House ballroom lift, and remnants of what once was San Francisco. Remember San Francisco? Well, forget San Francisco. Plus, we now have more immigrants than mosquitoes. And they are rushing where? Downtown Zambia? No, there's nothing in Zambia. Crosstown Madagascar? Please, there's nobody to bite there. Inner Mongolia? No. They are here to try to make the world's number one city, where our communist, socialist, youngest, leftist, dumbest anti-Americanist temporary mayor, who dumped his tiny apartment to live in Gracie Mansion, now lives here to further squalor, garbage, misery, poverty, and hate for those who built it to what it became and what he is trying to destroy. Okay, I can do more. I will do more, but it's time for a break, for a cup of coffee, and then I'll be right back.
It's the Cindy Adams Show, 77 WABC.
Joseph Abboud, you have been dressing men for decades. How did it start? Where were you born?
Yes, Cindy, I was born in the south end of Boston, Massachusetts, in a working class community. And I always thought when I was a little kid, I used to go watch old films with Errol Flynn and Gary Cooper and all those Hollywood icons. And I fell in love with their style, that Hollywood style. And I always thought, Cindy, that dressing well opened doors. And so that's where my love of it came from, actually from movies, from the old movies. And I grew up in the 50s and 60s in Boston, and then I went to work for Ralph Lauren in 1980 and I moved from Boston to New York. So that was a big step in my career.
Well, we all know your name. We know how great you are. We know all of that. What we don't know is what the hell has happened to styles. What has happened to men? Tell me what you think of men wearing shorts into an office.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You know, Cindy, I think this is my greatest pet peeve is COVID slammed the door shut on men's style. That whole period where men would stay home in their pajamas and do work really killed men's fashion. And we haven't recovered from that. You're right. People don't dress to go to the theater anymore. They don't dress to go to the office. It's very rare that you see a man in a jacket, or very rarely in a man with a suit and a tie. And it seems lost, but there is hope, Cindy. I think younger generations of guys are kind of hungering for that style, something that you've known about New York. New York was the style capital of America. And, you know, people dressed on Madison Avenue and went to 21, and there was a certain glamour and style. But unfortunately, especially in New York, that has disappeared.
I just don't understand what you're saying, that it's going to come back. Nothing is coming back in the United States. It is just dreadful. You go to theater, they're wearing T-shirts. They're schlepping something, a brown paper bag on their shoulders.
That's right.
What is happening to anything that we believe in? Why aren't people like you screaming and shouting?
Well, I have been, and that's been my whole crusade, is to dress men and get them to understand that dressing appropriately is crucially important. The younger generation, you know, Cindy, we grew up knowing great fashion magazines where young men would get their style, GQ, Esquire. We couldn't wait for the September issue with all of the fall fashion. And it seems that there's so much distraction with the internet and social media and people are not meeting face to face. You know, I always say, I give advice to young men, you know, you need a navy blazer, you need a gray suit, because you may have to go to a wedding or a funeral, or you may have to meet your girlfriend's parents. You need to have the appropriate wardrobe. And I've been screaming about that, and you know, that's my crusade, and I continue that crusade.
Okay, your crusade, I understand. I also understand that it's a losing battle for all of us. Penmanship is a losing battle. People learning arithmetic is a losing battle. Being gracious is a losing battle. I think this is also. I went out the other day. I went to theater, and I saw them in their T-shirts, and I saw people walking on the street in shorts, and ladies with their things hanging out. What the hell is happening to us? Tell me, save me, because I think I want to kill myself. It's awful.
No, Cindy, we need your voice. Your voice is so powerful, and I mean this sincerely. I've been such a for so many years, and you stand for so many important things and important subjects. But let me address something, Cindy. It used to be in New York City that you would go out to dinner and you would take a stroll after dinner and you'd walk up to see the windows at Saks Fifth Avenue or Bergdorf Goodman or Barney's, and you would look at, you know, style, and you would be dressed appropriately and you felt comfortable. New York has deteriorated because of what's been going on politically in the city.
Well, New York has deteriorated in every way with this little mouse that is running this city at the moment. So, I mean, I would go through 2 hours now of peeing on him if I could, but right now I want to talk to you. It's dreadful. The city itself is dreadful.
Yes.
But it's not just that. I see men in earrings. I see men in necklaces. I see men in bracelets. Isn't somebody doing anything? People like you, who we all look to?
Yes. Well, Cindy, as I said, that's a battle that I fight all the time through my Instagram page, talking about American men's style. Cindy, when I launched my collection in 1987, I wanted to make American men more international. I wanted to dress them. I didn't want them to be stepchildren to our European counterparts. I wanted them to have a style all of their own. And through the 90s and the 2000s, I was able to get men to dress again. But I will tell you that COVID was disastrous on so many levels for young men understanding what would be appropriate. You know, I can only do so much. My goal always is to continue that battle. But I've tried to have the fashion business look at it. But, Cindy, there's something else. You grew up and you knew the Bill Blasses, Oscar de la Renta.
Yeah.
Ralph Lauren, probably
Yeah.
the greatest icon in American fashion.
Yeah.
They stood for dressing well, for beautiful fashion that really interprets who we are. It was an expression of who we are. Those were the giants of our industry. Giorgio Armani, who passed away, Karl Lagerfeld. And I had the privilege of knowing so many of these great people. Again, working with Ralph Lauren for 5 years as one of his design directors was so influential. My point is we've got to get people like you, and I'm so glad you're doing this, Cindy, to get that message out. It's not easy, but I do think there's hope, and I'll tell you why. There's a genetic memory in young men to say, you know what, I think I need a suit. I've got to go to a wedding. Oh, guess what? I have a job interview. Oh, I'm getting married. I need a tuxedo. I will tell you a very sweet story if you have a moment. So
I got the moment.
Contacted by, I was privileged to be contacted by a young man with Down syndrome who was marrying a young woman with Down syndrome. And it is one of the most inspiring stories. And they asked me if I would help style their wedding. Well, I would have paid to do that because it was one of the greatest privileges of my life. And this young man who was so well-versed and well-spoken wanted to make sure that he was appropriately dressed for his wedding and his groomsmen. And the bride, and we talked about it, and we had a number of sessions. And I always open myself up to saying, anyone who needs fashion advice, young people, I am there for them. Because I think it's really my calling, my job to help young people understand. And I was so happy to see the way the suit fit him and how much joy it brought him to being well-dressed. Now, the wedding was in September, and we had it custom tailored. And so those are the kinds of things that I try to do. It's like being Johnny Appleseed. Now, whether the seeds take or not, I can only do what I can do, but I hear everything you're saying and couldn't agree more. And I will say this to you, Cindy. We need to figure out what to do in New York City. It is an embarrassment. The shops, half of them are closed. There are people sleeping in the hallways. You don't want to go out at night and walk around and look at the windows because you're afraid for your safety. New York City should be ashamed of itself for what it's doing. And we say it's the greatest city in the world, and it's where I built my career, but it has a lot of work to do if it's ever going to even be close to that.
Everything you say, I agree with. I just don't know where we are going. I don't know where our country is going. I don't know where our city is going. I don't know where our stupid-ass mayor is going. I just don't know where anything is going. I think maybe I'm just living too long. Tell me, what are you doing with your old suits? Do you wear them? Do you wear them even though you don't feel comfortable in them?
Well, that's such a great question. Let me tell you, Cindy, I believe in repurposing great things. So in the last couple of years, I've been going back into my archives and picking out pieces that I designed that I loved, say, 20 years ago. I will style it differently now. I will maybe take that suit jacket and wear it with a cargo pant and a turtleneck, a cashmere turtleneck. So it might not be the way I wore it 20 years ago, but if it's great quality, and I always said, Cindy, buy less but buy better, buy quality. Our European counterparts do that very, very well, especially the European women. They know how to tie a scarf or to wear a jacket they've had for 10 years. It's not about disposable fashion. And so I love my archival pieces because a lot of them were made in America. I'm so proud of that I made more than 5 million suits, maybe 7 million suits here in the United States that were sold under the Joseph Abboud label. And I'm so proud of that, the factory in Massachusetts. And so I try to do my part as one crusader. I try to do it. But your voice, you can be so helpful, Cindy. And doing this segment is very helpful for the listeners.
Did you yourself ever screw up a design?
Cindy, you're hitting on all the right points. One of my design philosophies is this. I never want to see a design that I've made and be embarrassed by it. Meaning, I've always had more respect for the customer than for the press, for the fashion press. So my goal in designing was always to make American men and women, when I did my women's collections, look and feel better about themselves. Because I never want a man's suit to walk into the room before he does. And what I mean by that is, you know all these great Hollywood icons that are wonderful images. When you saw them, it wasn't the suit they were wearing. It was their whole aura, their whole image. So men should be the leading actor, and clothes should be the supporting stars. And that's always been my philosophy of not making a mistake and making sure I honor my customer, because that's how I was successful. Not because of the celebrity or hoping to get some kind of publicity, but because I wanted to do my job well. And I wanted to really honor American men and make them strong counterparts to their European, men who just dress well. I went to school. I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to go to the Sorbonne when I was 19 years old. I was in Boston, got a full scholarship to go to Paris for a year. And I think, Cindy, that was when my eyes really were open. I would watch the Cafe Society, see men and women dressed beautifully, in the cafes at night. And one day the metro opened up, and a man in the subway, their metro system, and a man in a tuxedo and a woman in a gown got on the subway. And I said to myself, I don't know what world this is, but it's a world I want to live in. So style has always been an important part of a reflection of who we are. And I know you know that because you know my friend Norma Kamali, who has done incredible work over the years. She's one of the most talented designers I know. Ralph Lauren, as I said, the true legend, the father of American fashion, in my opinion. So
what should we do now when we're going out and we have no money? We have no money for tomatoes or lousy lettuce. We have no money. We're supposed to pay the Joseph Abboud money for a suit. They don't have it.
Cindy, I think I always tried very hard to have what I call a price-value proposition. I do not believe in paying for designer labels if there's no value there. And I'm in the designer world. But when someone will have a bikini for $800, I say to myself, how can a bikini that's made of a quarter of a yard of fabric be $800? Or how can a handbag be $25,000? How can that be? To me, I think that is taking advantage of the consumer. So I tried hard to keep our prices fair and have the price-value proposition. And I will say this about what you just mentioned. I would say to a young man, you don't need 5 or 6 suits. Buy one nice suit. It's more economical. Buy one nice blazer and a few great white shirts and a pair of gray flannel trousers. So you have it. You don't have to have 10. But buy better and buy less often.
So did you yourself, a high-class designer like you, ever F up something?
Well, I will tell you, there is no straight line to success, and I think I know my place in the universe. I did one thing that I was happy to do, but it didn't get good press, and you may call it a mess up if you want to hear about that. I'll tell you. So I designed a GMC Sierra, a car for General Motors, for something called Concept Cure. You may remember Concept Cure, but it was designers coming out and designing cars to raise money for breast cancer. And this is what I'm really proud of. The vehicle that I designed raised the most money at auction. So I wanted to do something. So I actually had that vehicle come out on the runway. Now, in hindsight, I shouldn't have done that. But let me tell you what happened. I got reviews like, well, what is this? The Price is Right? So the press didn't get the message, Cindy. I wanted to show my support, our support for breast cancer. And the fact that we raised over $250,000 for that one vehicle. It was a one-of-a-kind with shearling seats, and it was really a beautiful piece. There was a stone from Nantucket in the dashboard. It was really beautiful. But I didn't get good reviews, and it's because the press was too shallow at that time to really get the message. But I made the mistake of doing that. That's only one of my mistakes. So, but it was well-intentioned, if you know what I mean.
So tell me, in the future, we're going to have kids. Mm-hmm. What is going to happen to department stores? What is going to happen to our bare asses when we go outside? What is going to happen to us? Tell me.
Wow. Well, Cindy, I don't know if you did a lot of research on my book or what I did, but you're asking all the right questions. When I launched my collection in 1987, there were 100-plus great department stores in America. If you look at fast forward 25 years, okay, they're almost 30 years, there are probably 4 or 5 department stores left. Now, we've lost that. I mean, people are shopping. I understand. They're on the internet. They're shopping on the web, but it's still not the same experience. So my advice to great retailers is, if you want people to come into your stores, it's all about storytelling. You have to create an environment to draw people in. You can't just price it out that, sale 60% off, 70% off. You have to inspire people to get dressed and show them how to do it intelligently. And I have to tell you, for me, from the very beginning of my career, I believe that once you get them inside, bring them into your environment, welcome them in, let them take their time, and that's the future, because it's not going to be just about price, and there are very few department stores left. It's unfortunate.
Well, listen, it all sounds so easy with you. I'm just so aggravated. I'm just awfully aggravated. Tell me if you had a lousy person that you ever dressed and who wasn't very nice and wanted to take his drawers off or whatever the hell it is. Didn't you ever have a pain in the ass?
Well, I did have a bunch of pain in the asses. I remember. So in 1988, I was the first designer to work with Bryant Gumbel in NBC, and I did his entire wardrobe. I did his entire wardrobe, and we got great reviews. And so for those years after, I did the Olympics with NBC and CBS. And occasionally there were those who, most of them were very appreciative, like a Jim Nance, who does a great job with his golf and, such a great friend. So many people. Bob Costas, for example, was a gentleman and a class act. But occasionally we would run across someone who wasn't really quite with their stature and who just complained about everything. And all I wanted to do was make their lives happy. So to me, I could only do what I was doing. But I will tell you that doing the Olympics gave us a lot of visibility, because I was a relatively new brand in 1988. And dressing personalities has never been my goal. I want to dress the American man. And if some personalities happen to like it, well, then I'm thrilled.
Yeah, well, what about when they're wearing long hair and they're wearing skirts occasionally, your clientele, and they're wearing bracelets, earrings, and tattoos up the behind? You don't have a problem with any of that that's happening today? I do.
I do. I have more of a problem with it than you do, Cindy, because it's been my work and my life's goal since I went to work in college at a men's store. So I had written an article for Women's Wear Daily, which said, "When did the skinny suit get too skinny?" That was the title of the article. So we saw in the last 10 years men wearing skin-tight suits that their arms were busting out of it. They looked like their bar mitzvah suit, okay? And I was fighting about good style. And I also said you could read their credit card numbers on their credit card because the suits were so tight. And then for a while, there's some designers pushing dresses and shorts for men. It really is an insult to the American man. I don't care what anybody says. I know it might be a fashion rage. People might get a kick out of it. To me, it's an embarrassment and an insult to the American consumer. I think men should dress like men and women should dress like women.
Okay, and before they cut off my career here, which they're about to do and have been about to do it for about several years, I have to say goodbye, because I've been on for 20 minutes with Joseph Abboud, who I think is wonderful, and I can't wait to wear one of your men's suits, honey. Thank you.
Cindy, I love you, and I love your show, and you are the best.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, honey. Bye.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
The Cindy Adams Show, 77 WABC.
I'm back. I've had a cup of coffee. I'm back to bitching and moaning about the way people are treating the United States of America, the best effing country the world and God has ever made. Right now, we have more immigrants than mosquitoes. And they are rushing where? Downtown Zambia? Crosstown Madagascar? Inner Mongolia? No, they are here to try to make the world's #1 city where our communist, socialist, youngest, leftist, anti-Americanist temporary mayor who dumped his tiny apartment to live in Gracie Mansion now lives. He is here to further indicate more squalor, garbage, misery, poverty, and hate for those who built it to what it became. This small-sized guy, does he remember history? Only a handful topped the Tsar and left us communist USSR, who hates us and tries to devour the Ukraine and will promote him to be chief sanitation officer in his first 2 weeks in downtown Moscow. I remember, suddenly it came to me all in the middle of the night when I can't sleep. I remember a long ago visit to Moscow. Beautiful women are the world over, but here in Moscow, they were in babushkas, sensible shoes, sturdy great coats. It seemed little to whistle out, except if you needed a taxi. And what was a woman's breakfast? One told me pear, P-E-A-R, pear fruit water, a glass of sour milk, a cereal of groats, like oatmeal, 2 boiled eggs, a bun, and coffee. She was eating light. Russians find no crime being stout, she told me. Few of us own cars. We walk more. Yeah, okay, to find what? At a Georgian restaurant, one woman sat there swilling vodka. Neat, mixed with nothing, laced with nada, just vodka, with a little black pepper in it, and she washed it down with beer. The trick, she told me through an interpreter, is first, eat bread and butter, which sponges up the alcohol. Drunkenness penalty is severe. In Russia, your name gets placed last on the list for an apartment if you do something wrong. My interpreter interviewed a sanitation department lady bus driver who worked a pneumatic drill in the night shift. I asked who was her at-home boss. She replied, "Oh, please, for harmony's sake, I pretend my husband is boss. At least," she sighed, "I let him think he is." Nice. I thought, well, our countries had at least one thing in common. And I went to a fashion show in the marble-walled Sovietskaya concert hall while ladies swam in Sochi in bra and panties. Why? Because no swimsuits for sale in Moscow's state-owned department store. Their so-called fashion industry also showed a brocade evening coat with cuffs and hem of mink. the manageress told me, "These will be mass-produced." Okay. I asked, "So how many will be mass-produced?" 12, she said. The red-haired model at a textile center told me, "I made my own clothing. I own 2 suits, 2 coats, one with a matching skirt. Such luxury as beige we don't have. When these wear out, I will replace them, not before." Okay. My travel guide wanted my cosmetics. Oh, this was interesting. We were supposed to have done everything in secret, just the 2 of us. My travel guide desperately wanted my cosmetics when I left. She had none. Thanks to my face, I had plenty. We agreed I'd meet her later, secretly, at a preordained spot, and I would bring all of my cosmetics to her. We picked we'd meet at 3 o'clock. We were to meet at Kutuzovsky Prospect. I waited until 4. She never came, and never again did I ever see her again. So that's what His Honor, New York City's new His Honor, our pint-sized leftist, socialist, communist, lose-it, nothingest, youngest, shortest, smallest, zeroest, dumbest New York City temporary mayor has in his dusty mind for the greatest city in the United States of America. In fact, in the whole world. It is so incomprehensible that except for the slim fact that his wife, who also hates us, does dress semi-respectfully without her things hanging out. Other than that, he belongs inside a laboratory's petri dish. That's what I'm telling you. Listen, I'm sure by now you're tired of me. Even I'm tired of me. I was here to do an hour. I could do more than an hour because I'm just filled with aggravation about anything that goes against my country. I could tell you more, but if you want to know more, tune me in again next week. I will be here at the same time, and I will be as charming as I am now. Listen, thank you. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for letting me shoot my mouth off. I look forward to talking with you next week, same time. Bye.